I started working with prostitutes, or the prostitution issue, in 1975 as a graduate student when I was working on my PhD in sociology. And I analyzed police reports filed by the Los Angeles Police Department. And that data was used to sue the police department for not arresting an equal number of men, the male customers who pay the prostitutes. It was a real controversial issue. And I was told at graduate school that they would no longer accept research I did on prostitution because it was giving me credibility being affiliated with the university and challenging the police department. It was a hard decision to decide whether I would pursue researching prostitution. And I got into another graduate school and worked closely with the press and gave the press information I had about a few girls who were killed by a serial murderers known as the Hillside Stranglers here in Los Angeles. And then one night, I received a call from a young woman who was a heroin addict who was running an escort service about a young woman she sent to meet these men. And because of the specific things that had happened, it was obvious that this was foul play. And I proceeded to call the police and ask the police to send a police car to help this girl. And they refused because she was just a whore. They kept me in the police department all night long. Until 3 o'clock in the morning, they told me they were not going to send a police car to the location. I went home and I called a news reporter and asked him to please get up because we had another one. That young lady turned out to be 17-year-old Kimberly Martin, the 11th victim of the Hillside Strangler. She was 17 years old. I was holding all of the evidence on the Hillside Strangler, and the police had refused to help. I was young. I went on the news. I was angry. I said, if you're involved in the prostitution business and you think you know who the Hillside Strangler is and you don't want to talk to the police, don't call them, call me. And that put me in the underground of the prostitution subculture, of sex clubs, pimps, pornographers, organized crime. And the media ran with me and protected me as we investigated clues to find out who was killing these girls. A couple of years later, when the police finally caught the Hillside Stranglers, they asked me to find the prostitutes that they originally had refused to speak to. And when I went out back into the underground of the sex world to ask them to help me locate these girls, people told me that children were now working as prostitutes, applying for jobs as strippers and applying for other jobs to work in the sex industry and to please help to get them out of their business because they were going to go to prison if they involved children in the sex business.